We're going to turn now to the moon landing. Tomorrow marks the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11 touching down, and a new documentary from National Geographic explores how we got there. ABC's David Curley has more from one of my very favorite places in all of Washington, the National Air and Space Museum. Hey, David.
One of my favorite spaces as well, Cecilia. I mean, where do you get to see this? This is an actual lunar lander. It never flew in space. It was a test model, but look at that. And at this hour 50 years ago, it was preparing to go into orbit for that remarkable landing.
Program alarm. It's 12:02.
Drama 50 years ago. National Geographic's Apollo, Missions to the Moon, mixes the conversations from Houston and the astronauts trying to land on the moon, as a computer alert nearly leads to an abort.
Give us a reading on the 12:02 program alarm. Eagle Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
But then Armstrong takes manual flight control to avoid boulders in the landing zone, burning more precious fuel. Listen to his concern.
Yeah, some fuel. Okay, looks like a good area here.
The warnings? 60 seconds of fuel, 30 seconds. Then with less than 20 seconds of fuel.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Neil Armstrong, who took that one small step for man,
One giant leap for mankind.
was followed by one of the most anxious moments in the mission for astronaut Mike Collins up in the command module orbiting the moon. With only one rocket on the lunar lander, he was worried it might not work, leaving Armstrong and Aldrin marooned. But you talked about being a marked man if you'd had to come back alone. What did that mean?
That's that guy who left those other two guys on the moon. You know, that would not have been a happy thing.
But the astronaut who seemed to be the happiest on the crew was not disappointed, as all three heroes splashed down safely. 50 years, what is the legacy of Apollo 11?
So many things that could go wrong, and yet nothing did. That, to me, is what I remember, and the most amazing thing about it. Everything worked.
Everything did work, and I want to give you a close-up look at this lunar lander because you don't get to see this very often. The ladder that they came down up top is what they called the porch, and then you see that little square? That's actually the hatch that they opened up, and they had to back out on their hands and knees onto the surface of the moon. Here at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, they're putting out the footprints that they actually walked on the moon around the lunar lander. That anniversary of the landing tomorrow night. I highly recommend that Nat Geo documentary if you want to learn more about this really exciting mission.
So
Cecilia?
cool, David. You got a good assignment today. Thank you. Apollo Missions to the Moon is available on natgeotv.com.